termite and pest control. Please stand by for your regularly scheduled broadcast and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what is this? Unleashed with Chewy, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control. Tune in with us this morning if you have anything. If you would like to get involved with us this afternoon, head on over to the Hall Furniture Facebook stream and get started there. Jumping in first here, for all of you who are listening on Facebook, come and tell us, say hi. Also, if you are on the app as well, we do have an app. You can go on the Google or Apple App Store. Those are all available as well. All right. Up first here, I've got rules with riding in someone else's car. This is an interesting one because I know a lot of people who like to jump into cars, and there's a weird unwritten rule every single time you get into someone else's car about, the air conditioning or the music or the windows or in stuff like that, where like you got the people where they don't want you to touch it, you got the people who do want you to touch it, and here's my question to the audience: and who's in charge of the car? I feel like if you're driving the car, you at least get to say the air conditioning and the windows, where like if open windows bother you but you're the driver, I feel like you should be allowed to go and do that and tell them no, like personally. I'm actually not an open window kind of guy, to be honest with you. I rarely have the window open except outside of maybe wintertime when it's like super hot on the inside of the car where they've been like cooking you with that heat. You got to crank the window down just a little bit to get some of that breeze right in your face. You know what I'm saying? But like if you've got also if you got like an older car, nowadays they're all fancy where like the passenger and the driver's side both have differently regulated temperatures, where like they'll turn it up and yours can be 70, but homeboys over here is at 64. You know what I mean? And I like that and all, but if you don't have one of those, I don't know. If you're a passenger, I mean, I think your voice matters at the very least. Like I'll say that for myself, but as far as like being able to change it willy-nilly, I don't know. I always sort of ask when it comes to that kind of thing. And but also like music. This is an interesting one as well because many people they really get into passionate, like, I am the one who picks the music for I am the driver, or I'm the passenger and therefore you're a DJ and you have to pick good music. So I am curious, is like, are you someone, when you're in the car, are you a control freak, or are you just open to any music or anything like that? Do you give it away? Also, like, who's doing the GPS? Do you have somebody else who holds the GPS for you and keeps going? I don't know. Let us know. Speaking of which, GPSs in general, man, do you guys, I feel like the only reason people released printers in the 90s was for MapQuest. Like, that was like the only reason you should ever do anything is so you could go on to MapQuest and download your thing and then print it off. That was the only reason I had a printer, because then or at least like go to, you can go to we'll go to the library, we'll get a map printed before we get going. Like, when was the last time you used a map? GPS was one of those things where it was so integrated, it was like so useful, where we culturally as a society all forgot how to use a map suddenly. GPS is getting so good now that it doesn't even use like regular satellite communications. Like, the U.S. government can pinpoint your location within 3 inches by just calculating where you are based on the stars. So it's like we don't even need all the sophisticated systems anymore. We're just using universal constants, as it were, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because it makes you want, like GPS. Here's the other thing. Did you know that GPS is actually owned by the United States government? That's right. Yeah, the United States government owns that technology. Like, they were the ones who created it. They just decided to make it open and free to the public for everyone to use. And most, like, GPS systems now, obviously, the different countries have, like, sent their own satellites and they've got their own networks and everything. But foundationally, GPS was just a United States invention, which is kind of a neat idea that they would give it out to the public. That feels like one of those ones where you hear about like the polio vaccine, where like that guy could have patented, sold it, made $1 billion, chose not to. He said, nope, give it to the people for free. It should be free and for the public. I doubt that the U.S. government's intents were so noble as with theirs, but I do think it was a wise decision to make it as accessible as possible, personally, because nowadays, I mean, ask somebody to get to the I-25, and they're like, I can't even count that high, dude. Like, and so you're and then have you ever gotten with like someone who is old enough to struggle with technology, but young enough to use it, where they're in that weird quasi space where they are like 4 steps behind where their phone needs them to be, kind of thing. So they're always asking you for help, and you're like, why don't you just get a regular phone? And like, because I like this kind of phone. So you get on there and you try to use their GPS, and then for some reason, like their GPS is in like meters and stuff, and you're like, why did you set it to this? And like, I didn't change anything. That's how it came. And you're like, it's literally impossible for it to come in different measurements. You would have had to have changed something. You don't need to lie to me. I'm not mad at you. You know, that's the other thing with me, where like if technology goes wrong and someone's like, well, I don't know, I didn't touch it, but it's like the only way this is activated is if you touched it. So I need you to just like, what is with that, especially in IT? I didn't touch anything. Like, why would you say that? Is it more embarrassing to be wrong about something like that, or is it more hurtful for you to just tell me what happened? You know what I mean? Like, don't sit there and tell me, oh, I didn't install that app on my phone. And I'm like, dog, it doesn't install by itself, especially out in the boonies with no internet connection. How'd it get here? It's always something like that. GPS is sort of the same way, though, because it's like, hey, share with me your location. Is that not weird to anybody else, by the way? Location sharing. Like, we have normalized being, sat on by these corporations and public interest and de-anonymization of the internet. And it's like, oh, send me your location. It's like, why? Why do you need to track where I am 24/7? You already have access to me 24/7. You can text or call me at any time in the day. In fact, I think smartphones should not have a call function. Smartphones should only have a text function, because I feel like it makes you too accessible. The phone is too good. It's too easy to access you. I don't think it's good for your brain. People over there at the school board, they had a meeting on Monday about it was over there at Rock Creek, and they were celebrating their success, and they had a big chair throne thing that they were making and all that, and they were talking about the new school policy with the phones. The phone policy is like it's pretty restrictive. And it limits it to just basically emergency usage before and after school, and that's it. They don't want your phones out, not during anywhere else or any time. And man, I've heard from some teachers about the incredible net positives these are having. They were talking about kids are talking to each other more. They're forcing them to engage. They were like playing cards and games and arts and expression and stuff like this, filling the void that the phone usually took from them. Like when people are on their phones, I don't think it's actually you replacing a hobby. I think it's the phone taking away your want and need to express yourself as a human. Sometimes I think about it. It's like the term doom scrolling is in the public lexicon right now. That's an unhealthy thing that we're all joking that we all do. You got to get off of that thing. And if you're replacing it with something equally terrorizing, like AI or something like that, I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. God forbid what the kids are going through right now. We always complain about them being on TV or the video games and the apps and stuff like that. Well, now they've got this digital companion in their pocket that they can turn and flip and mold and adjust themselves to. And, so I don't really know how this is a net positive for kids, especially when you're growing up and this is how it happens. You're going to be isolating yourself socially by accident. It's not good for you. And I'm glad the school board, listen, I mean, maybe that's a controversial take, but I'm kind of glad the school board restricted the cell phone use, especially in the school building. Like, I know it's hard to fight it, but like restrict it as much as you can, because it's not a good, I don't think it's a net positive. It's not good for kids, especially when in those formative years where their brain is so plastic and and that kind of thing. It's just like, it's important for them to flex certain muscles in their brain creatively, intellectually, athletically, socially, that aren't technically possible when something else is in the way. If you had some of the greatest artists in history, but while in their formative years, while they were finding their voice or their style or who they were, in the middle of that, do you think that the arts and stuff would be the same? Everyone complains, oh, everything's gotten so, they've gotten rid of creativity and soul and everything. Everything's so corporate and sanitized and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's our own fault. The only people we have to blame is ourselves. Putting those phones out in front of everybody gave everyone a voice, and it all, and then in a very unequal voice. Some voices are much louder than others, and for no other reason except for arbitrary ones. So you get online and then you talk about things. The people who we probably should be listening to don't have that voice, or at least not the same megaphone that the other people do. And then you get people on air where you sit there, they'll go and hoot and holler in their opinions, and they're not informed or engaged, but they do have a large audience. It's not wise to poison ourselves in such a way, especially the kids. So let me know on the All Furniture Facebook stream. Do you agree with that at all? Like, is that sort of rhetoric that you think you can get behind as well? I just don't like. I don't have kids, so it's very easy for me to point and say your kid shouldn't be doing X, Y, or Z. But I will say, like, man, I think there needs to be a relationship change with the phones here very, very soon, where I wouldn't even be surprised if there's going to be a generation that actively rejects it, where they're like, nope, not buying into the Facebook and the social media and all the other thing. We're not doing that. We're going classic. Like, think about it. Like, vinyl has outsold CDs for years now, and that's not just because of streaming. People have been collecting vinyl like crazy. You go to Walmart right now, they've got more vinyls than they do CDs. I don't even know if they sell CDs at Walmart anymore, but they sell a lot of vinyl. They sell a lot of DVDs, but they don't sell a lot of CDs anymore. The section shrinks and shrinks and shrinks every year. Meanwhile, that vinyl case is getting wider and wider and wider. I think not only is it just cultural nostalgia for a time that was different, I think people are actively seeing the detrimental effects of growing up in an age where everything is handed to you so easily. And when I say that, I don't mean like literally. I'm saying accessibility, the lack of accessibility, especially at a young age, will teach you confidence. It'll teach you attitude. It'll teach you patience, how to get things, how to ask for things, how to wait for good things. Nowadays, you can live in this hyper-efficient, hyper-specific world where everything is happening 100% of the time, all the time, very quickly. And that's just not how it used to be. Things used to be a little bit quieter, a little bit slower, a little bit smoother. I'm not saying it was technically better, but it did function in a way that helped, especially a young mind, deal with reality a little bit, I think. Those are all options for us here. I don't know. Maybe I'm far off base. Let me know in the All Furniture Facebook stream. I've been genuinely considering here lately just getting a flip phone because I just don't think it's good for me. I've been missing out on things like why do I care what Kim Kardashian's doing on a Tuesday afternoon? You know what I mean? Like, why do I care that some billionaire lost half his money gambling or something like that, and then on top of that, all of what you see is just outrage bait. It's just there to make you angry because they know they can guarantee a click. It's not a good practice to put yourself in. It's not good for your soul, I don't think. It's not good for your brain on either end if you're creating it or making it or consuming it. Like, I'm a victim of this myself, where I'll like, oh man, that makes me so angry, so I'll just go and you go and click on it, and I don't think it's good for him. So I shout out to the school board for, I think, making a positive change, especially on these young people's social interactions and talking and that kind of thing. I think it'll give it, because I think that's something that kids are solely lacking, and it isn't their fault, it's ours. It's not the phone's fault, it's our fault. We haven't incentivized it enough for them. They haven't given them enough reason to get off the phone. We've been happy to complain and point fingers at the phone, but not really do anything about the phone. So shout out to the school board making some positive changes out there. All right, we're going to take a break here and then be back with more after this. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340, 1069.
Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester proudly congratulates the Franklin County class of 2026. This milestone reflects years of dedication, perseverance, and growth. And today, we celebrate each one of you. As you step into your next chapter, whether it's college, a career, or a new adventure, know that your community is behind you every step of the way. Keep striving, keep learning, and keep making a difference. Congratulations, seniors, from Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester.
You may not realize it, but where you bank matters. Citizens Tri-County Bank has been serving southern Middle Tennesseans since 1972. And while we offer all the same services as the big guys, Citizens is a community bank, meaning our decisions, big and small, are made here locally with our community in mind. So whether you need a loan for that startup or to refi, we take pride in being the only community bank you'll ever need. Citizens Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You ever go down the rabbit hole at 2 in the morning and come out questioning everything? That's kind of what it's like listening to Unleashed with Chewy, presented by Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. That's right, this isn't your typical show. We're going to be talking conspiracies, space, movies, science, whatever our brains have got spinning that day. Some days make sense, most definitely don't. Either way, we're going to have a great time. Unleashed with Chewy, weekdays from 2 to 4 on ESPN Radio Winchester.
A lot of businesses think better advertising means spending more money. The truth is, the most expensive advertising is the kind that doesn't work. When your message is consistent, your category is protected, and your advertising works together across multiple platforms like radio, billboards, and digital, all connected to the teams that Franklin County loves, you actually spend less over time. That's why our partners don't just advertise, they own their space. Learn how smart advertising can save you money with ESPN Radio 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
This is Unleashed with Chewy, powered by Burrell's Termite and Pest Control on ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT, Winchester.
Welcome back, ESPN Radio Winchester, ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340-1069. Give us a call, 931-967-3500. You guys ever think about what was only fun when you were a kid? I think about this sometimes. I don't know. Like, that's not really how I quantify things very much. Not that I don't have fun. It's just like, I don't know. The things that I enjoyed then and things I enjoy now I enjoy them for different reasons. But there are a few that I thought were like kind of interesting, particularly in like sleepovers. Like, you ever sleep at a friend's house, like impromptu? Like, sometimes it can be a little awkward. You know what I mean? Especially with the thing like, oh, I go to bed at 8 o'clock, or like somebody who like goes back. You ever met somebody like go to bed at like 6:30 or something like that? Man, those people, when they always like to brag, they're like, "Yep, I get up at 3:40 in the morning," and you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I go to bed at 6:15 p.m." I'm like, okay, so you don't really get up earlier; you go to bed earlier. So it's like there's a difference. You know what I mean? And so just be clear with us whenever you say stupid stuff like that. But sleepovers, like, I don't know. There's something about, I never really loved the idea of going to other people's houses when I was younger in particular. I still don't really now, like, sleeping over at somebody's house. I just feel weird and awkward because I feel like I'm imposing. You know what I mean? Like asking for something, like I don't know. There's something about it where I just feel strange doing that. Water parks is another one where, you know, in my head, a water park is awesome, right? Like, you get you a couple buddies, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go to a water park, but then you get there, it's like $15 hot dogs and 2-hour lines, you know, like that kind of thing, over like super public, super overfilled waters, and then you start thinking about who's in the water with you, and then it all sort of fizzles out. Does anybody else have this issue? Now, I'll tell you what, you know, like, man, are there adult-only theme parks? And when I say that, I don't mean like adult as in content, but like adult as in like 21 and up. Like you go to this theme park to have fun, but you can also go and drink. You know what I mean? Like or like participate in adult, you know, substances and beverages. Like, is that a thing? Like, does Disney World do like a 21 and up night or something like that? I feel like people should be doing this. Where like even our local, like the arcade, like after a certain hour it's only 21 and up, so it's like they're and here's the thing, I do believe this. So with the declining birth rates, family, like the family dynamic, the nuclear family content, I think will slow way down, and in fact I think it'll actually do a hard left turn from usually family-friendly content to more adult-centric content here soon. And when I say here soon, I'm talking about the next 10 to 15 years, where you're going to start seeing, like, you know, 21 and up, like Chuck E. Cheese's or something. I know that's an extreme example, but like a version of Chuck E. Cheese where it's like adult-centric, where you go, it's like a Dave & Buster's basically, but like the Dave & Buster's isn't going to be a family-friendly restaurant anymore, and there will be like more restaurants catered specifically to adults. I think this is already happening. I mean, look at the internet. The internet is basically, if you are not, I genuinely believe that you shouldn't be allowed to use like social media and the internet and stuff unless you are 21 and up, because it's like, it's so inappropriate all the time. And it's like, you know, it almost assumes your age, you know what I mean? But for us to regulate that, you would have to basically take away a lot of the opportunities that people are doing with the internet right now. I mean, I don't mind making that an adult-only space. In fact, I don't think the internet's good for a young mind anyway. But my point being, I think here recently, you know, everyone's complaining about, you know, declining birth rates. We're not doing anything to change that either, by the way. We're all just arguing and complaining about it. Oh, well, he's pro-life, he's pro-choice. We can't do this. Or, well, reproductive rights. No one's actually like talking about the reasons like why no one else is having kids. Just the fact that everyone isn't having kids, and we're all going to argue about reproductive rights and population numbers and all this other stuff. Where it's like, in reality, there's a lot of other reasons. And I think one of the long-term consequences of that will just basically be, you are going to be handicapping yourself if you have young kids in like the next 20 years, where the world will adjust to having a culture of mostly adults to rely on economically, not families, just mostly adults. Prices are going to start pointing in that direction, and then so are venues. You're going to have movie theaters. Think about this. What are movie theaters going to be in the next 20 years? You know what I mean? I genuinely don't know. I don't know if maybe there will be a resurgence, maybe not. But my point being is, it certainly won't look the way it looks right now. How many movie theaters have you been to now where they have a wine bar? There's a theater that's got that. So in Nashville, I go to a theater that has like a 25 millimeter projector that you can go and do. It's like one of 9 in the country, and you can go up there, and they have a wine bar and cheese, and you can go and you can get this stuff, and you can order a drink or like a hot toddy or something, or I don't know what people order when they go to the bar, but it's a real thing, and I've been thinking about this a lot, where you've got the culture is already there for basically 21 and up spaces, which is just the internet, where you've got this like, hey, we're all adults here. You can say the weird thing, you know, make the spicy jokes, be a little inappropriate, be a little rowdy, like that kind of thing. And it'll solely be because no one my age is having kids. And I know that, and again, everyone's going to come and there's like, oh, well, so-and-so is having kids and this person's having kids. And I'm like, yeah, but if you look at the national and global averages alike, China and the United States are the two most important countries in the world, okay, economically and politically in a lot of cases. And both of those countries, including most of the 23 developed countries in the world, all have declining birth rates. All of them. They all have this, especially Western countries like Britain. In Europe, you got like Germany, France. A lot of these places, they have such a low birth rate with millennials and Gen Z. And then when they're polled, they're like, "Do you plan on ever having children?" That it stays small, even amongst religious individuals, Mormons and Baptists and people who usually have large amounts of families. Even they are declining in birth rates. And I think what it'll have I'm not saying it's going to be a net negative, but there will be, I think that we're going to reach a certain point where this sort of like nightclub feeling of, letting loose, like you're going to be able to go to like places and get a beer where you didn't think you would. Like Walmart, I'm not going to say like Walmart's going to have a bar, but I don't know why not. If 98% of the people who walk into your store are 21 up and you've got a store right there, what is the best thing to sell to people besides that and other indulgences as far as substances go? But I genuinely think like people, say what you want, but like even like think about major companies, entertainment, Disney, all of these other people, they will start making adult content. I bet you within not next year, but the next 3 years, we will see our first like rated R like Star Wars movie or something. Or a rated M game or like adult Star Wars content. They already tested it with Andor. They had extremely adult and serious topics in that show, and it was taken as one of the best. It was heralded as some of the best content ever made for television, let alone Star Wars. And if that's what people want, that's what they're going to give them because it's going to be profitable. Watch in the next couple of years the family-friendly sort of circus fall apart because it no longer has bread, where you literally will go outside and expect, you like if you have kids, you're going to have youth stuff. You're going to have to like congregate with other parents because it's not going to be economically viable to apply to that class anymore, where the middle class is now just young people, not families. Does that make sense? Or at least that's my prediction. Do I think that'll change anytime soon? No, I actually don't. And I don't see any reason that it will change. Even in unless something radical happens, I don't see that changing whatsoever. And I don't think reproductive rights will change it. I don't think political changes will change it. I think it has to be something severe and drastic for these things to change. Probably economically, where I would say that probably most people have the idea that I want to have kids, but I can't afford them, right? Which is both sad but true. A lot of in many cases where they and so people are basically saying I'd love to participate in this fiasco of us trying to fix this birth rate and all, but I can't do it if you're not going to cover me. And that's the problem, where the companies that make these kinds of decisions, especially economically, are not incentivized for you to have kids. They're incentivized you to work, and then you get paid money to work because that's what people want, whatever product they're providing. And I don't think that this product, I don't know if you can create a product that's good enough to incentivize people to have more children besides the idea of cutting back major economic changes. And you know what? Maybe I'm just cynical. Maybe people who were born in the late 90s and early 2000s, when they start joining politics more, maybe we will see some changes here. Maybe things are going to be a little bit different. Maybe you really do just need to wait out the next generation to finally step into office before things change. But people forget that, for people in the last century, it wasn't until the 1960s before we started getting people making actual changes in government who were born in the 1900s. It was dominated by people from 4 or 5 previous generations. So so I'm not saying to give up, but I'm saying don't hold your breath for major change until maybe about halfway through the century. Now, good news is we're almost halfway there, but the bad news is that's still a long way to go. And and the economic impacts of things that happen within generations don't take that long to happen, and it only takes like 5 or 6 years. So by the time we get to some of those issues, and maybe you're at a point to where it's like a crisis, not just a worrisome idea. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Let me know if I'm wrong in the Hall of Furniture Facebook stream. Stay tuned right here on Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burl's Termite and Pest Control. We got some messages headed your way. Stay tuned with us after this.
Athletics teach more than wins and losses. Substance misuse can undermine performance, health, and long-term goals. That's why prevention matters in sports and in life. The Franklin County Prevention Coalition partners with schools, coaches, and families to promote healthy choices among student athletes. Because when teams support one another, we are stronger together. And when young leaders compete with clear minds and healthy bodies, they're truly stronger without it. Learn more at fcpctn.org. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
No two patients are alike. High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas delivers care centered around your health, your goals, your story, your recovery. From routine checkups to critical procedures, we use today's medical technology and advanced clinical practices to help you feel better, recover faster, and return home to the community you love. We don't just specialize in care, we specialize in you. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
I'm Kristen Abraham, and at Abraham Art Gallery, we're more than just a place to see great art. We're a place to create, connect, and celebrate. Join us for monthly classes for kids and adults, artist talks, and hands-on events that welcome beginners and collectors alike. Need a unique space for a shower, small gathering, or creative workshop? Our gallery is available for private rentals too. And of course, come browse the latest exhibit. You might just find that perfect piece to take home. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, learn more at abrahamgallery.com, and visit us on the square in downtown Winchester.
This spring, take pride in your yard with Flagship Lawn Services. From mowing and trimming to mulch and full cleanups, they deliver professional results at a fair, honest price. And with their Flagship Finish Guarantee, every job is done right, or they'll make it right. No shortcuts, no hassle. Just a yard that looks the way it should. Call or text Flagship Lawn Services today at 239-849-4033 and see the difference for yourself.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Check in scissor hands. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but what's the secret to a good haircut?
A good haircut makes you feel confident. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, when you get that haircut, you're going to walk out that barbershop, you're going to look in the mirror, and you're going to be like, yeah, that's it. And you're going to tip the barber.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
The future of healthcare starts here. The Southern Tennessee Regional Health System, Winchester and Suwannee, are joining the High Point Health System with Ascension St. Thomas, a health network serving communities across the state. We're working together to expand access, improve clinical quality, and keep you close to home throughout your care journey. Your favorite providers aren't going anywhere. It's the same care you know and trust, now with a new name, High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
This is Unleashed with Chewy, powered by Burl's Termite and Pest Control on ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT, Winchester.
Welcome back, ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340, 1069. Do you ever guys get secondhand embarrassment? Particularly by someone who's like close by, like where you eat at a restaurant or something. Maybe your family does this, and you've got an issue with it. But I've always wondered, who is the most annoying person at a restaurant, or like what type of person, right? you've got a bunch of people. The table modifier, where they change every ingredient. You got the bill splitter mathematician. You got the I'm not hungry person, but then they eat half the fries. Loud phone watcher. The person who's rude to the waiter. The person who needs 25 minutes to order chicken tenders. The booth hog. People who say we should try somewhere else new, then rejects every other option. Tori. Is it worse to be picky, slow, loud, cheap, or rude? These are really the questions here for you. Maybe just a little bit. What's up? Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll take a look at that. But at a restaurant, when you're down and dirty in the restaurant, right? Here's the question for you. For me, I cannot listen. I honestly get so much secondhand embarrassment from people like acting a fool in a restaurant that like I have now gotten to the point to where like if you're a waiter like and you do something wrong by accident, like I am one of the more like, listen, dog, just forget about it. We'll pay for it. Come home with me. I'll take care of you. Stop working here. You know what I mean? Like I'm the kind of guy who is like annoyed with himself for giving the waiter something too strenuous, where like they come back and like, do you need anything? Nope. And they come back in and you're like, oh dang, I should have ordered water. People always like, I'll hear people like, well, why didn't you? Well, just hold them down whenever they're here. And I'm like, no, I don't want to bother them. You know what I mean? I'm in that part where I just I don't know. But I tell you what, one does get on my nerves, like, is if you've got a phone call, and you guys already know the gripes that I have with phone, is they show up and, man, if you take a call while you're sitting down and you're like talking on the phone, I'll throw something at you. Because number one, I don't want to hear that. I also don't want to hear all the freaking feedback on your phone from the other half of the table as well. Then I feel like that I have to be quiet because you're talking about something so clearly important that you had to get on your phone for it. So then I feel weird. And I'm like, just take it outside. Here's my other question, too. When you've got, like, babies in a restaurant and they start crying, are you the type of person who just, like, can't stand that kind of thing? Like, it happens and you just sort of go ballistic? I am not. It never burned me that bad, because in my head I'm just thinking, like, man, I can't believe, I was like, because I just always feel like, man, imagine if you were that parent that, like, their kid's, like, losing it in public or, like, on the airplane or something like that. Like, I've never been in a situation like that, so my annoyance doesn't ever really translate into anger because, like, I don't know what, like, if I had a kid, I don't know what to do if that happened. I guess I'd just take him outside. You know what I mean? But my point being is, like, sometimes I have a hard time getting mad at other people with that sort of situation where, yes, it is very loud. Yes, it's very annoying. Maybe there should have been something done differently. But the main point that I have with it is just like, listen, I've never been there, dog, so I don't even want to comment on it because I guarantee you the moment that I say, oh man, they need to get that kid under control, if I ever have a kid, I know for a fact it's going to be a hellion. You know what I'm saying when where I'm coming from when it comes to that kind of thing? Like, I don't want to like poison my karma early by getting mad about certain things because when that karma comes back to swing and hit me, like I don't want to be caught off guard by it. You know what I mean? Like, these kids should never be using iPads and they shouldn't be on the phone. They should be outside doing stuff. And it's just like, I mean, it's easy to say on the outside, but like if you're like a parent and you're overworked and you're stressed and you're tired, what are you supposed to do? You're living in a world where the equipment isn't the same, But anyway, never had a table modifier though. You ever have somebody where you sit down for a little bit and then they're like, I kind of want to go somewhere else like that? I've heard about people who do this, but I've never actually seen it. Also, people who order for you. You can pay for it, but I'm not eating it. Like I don't get that as well. I like restaurants though. Like I am a restaurant. I enjoy the atmosphere a little bit. I enjoy being in public and hearing the people and being a part of the social process. I like having to talk a little bit louder because people can't hear you. I enjoy that. Like a date for me isn't complete unless we've gone to like a diner or like a restaurant or something. And I don't know. But also, here is one that I've been seeing more and more recently: the loud phone watcher. Not just the phone watcher, but the loud phone watcher, where they are watching a meme at like full volume and their hands are like cupping it, so it's like louder for them, and you hear it, but not well enough to know what's funny. You just hear the like across from the way, and that drives me up a wall. Like that, I understand that 100%. But if like the kid's on the iPad and he's not running around, who cares? Like I went to a restaurant recently where I was so overstimulated. I won't say which restaurant it was because it wasn't nearby, but I was so overstimulated that like I had to leave. Like I had to leave. Like I had to like. There were 3 birthdays in like the span of less than 15 minutes, and it was at the place where they have like the little spinny thing that makes a lot of noise. So like every 50, and it literally by the 3rd time I audibly said, "Is there literally another one?" And there were kids running around, and like that is something where it's like the kid running around willy nilly in like the restaurant, like. A baby taking 2 or 3 steps next to your table outside of the high chair, I don't care about that. Or like the kids staring at you and waving, that's always fun. But like when you got a kid who's like bouncing off the walls and they're not sat down and they're like running around, getting in people's way, running into people. I'm not saying that I personally get any self-satisfaction out of seeing them bang their head on the corner of a table, but I am also saying that when it does happen, I do feel a little bit better. But I don't know. I don't bring kids to restaurants unless because I don't have kids, and I don't know if I feel like I still would. Like if I had kids, I would still bring them to restaurants. But so I try not to judge people who do that because it's like just because you have kids doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and do certain things. You know what I mean? Where I feel like some people have this opinion. I watched a comedian do a bit about it. Where he's like, if you have kids, you shouldn't go to the movies. If you have kids, you shouldn't go to restaurants. And I just think that's empirically untrue. I don't know. For me, I have trouble saying something so definitive as that. But I tell you what does grind my gears, and the only reason it grinds my gears is because my better half does this, where they will stare at the menu for 30 minutes, and the waiter will come back 3 or 4 times. You ready? You ready? You ready? Can I have another minute? Oh, can I have another minute? And you're like, wow, you don't know what you want. And then they order the same thing every single time. Now, some of you know who I'm talking about when I say this, okay? And I know you know, because there are people like this, where you sit down, and they are already looking at the menu, and you sit there and you're thinking, you're not even going to order anything new this time. I don't know what you're even bothering with the menu for. And then since they sit there, oh, no, I don't know if I can pick. What are you going to get? What are you getting? Do you like this? Have you tried that? And you're like, dude, what are we doing? You're just going to order the empanada again. I don't want to know. What is this game we're playing? I don't like this stupid game. And then what do? Eventually, they always order the empanada, and then they order a margarita and get them to embarrass themselves. There's the other thing. I've never been to a work retreat and embarrassed myself at a restaurant. Not yet, anyway. I'd like to, like go get drunk at a work party and then the pictures and everything. Mom says pet peeve: going out with someone and they are rude. I feel responsible. I get that feeling. Now, I've actually never been with someone who's been blatantly rude to staff or anyone when it comes to that kind of thing, but I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't know how you deal with that. Do you just not address it? Do you apologize to the waiter or waitress afterwards? Like, I've never, like, I did have relatives who would take me to, like, McDonald's or something when I was little. Not going to name any names, but certain relatives, they would go to McDonald's, they would scream the order into the microphone incorrectly, and then the McDonald's worker would then repeat to them the order that they said exactly the way they said it, and then they would be like, no! Like they made a mistake or something. Now that, you want to talk about some secondhand embarrassment, that to me, I mean, it makes you feel this big. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh gosh, would you please not do this? Especially fast food workers. Like, I'm sorry, I've got a bleeding heart for them, but I really do. Fast food workers, I get it. Fast food sucks. It's never right. Doesn't taste good. It's overpriced. Yes. That is not always the worker's fault, okay? If you're making the same thing 110 million times a day, and one of those times they ask for no pickles, it happens with your brain, okay? It's muscle memory. If it's not part of the normal flow, it happens. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't tell you about fast food is it's not super easy either. It's high intensity, high work, high fat, fast pace. People got to be on top of stuff. They usually aren't because they don't get a lot of money. A lot of money isn't really paid to them. But at the same time, it's not a reason to take it out on them. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, those are just some of my opinions on that. Tune in with us more after this break. We're going to take a break here and then be back with more Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control.
Dr. Susan J. Laws at the Eye Care Center proudly congratulates the graduating seniors of Franklin County and Huntland High Schools, class of 2026. Today marks a major milestone and the beginning of an exciting new chapter. Your hard work, determination, and focus have brought you to this moment. So, as you look ahead, keep your vision clear and your goals in sight. Your community is proud of you and cheering you on. Congratulations from Dr. Susan J. Laws. T.C. Simmons Insurance would like to congratulate the graduating seniors of Franklin County High School and Huntland High School, class of 2026. Life is full of unexpected turns, new opportunities, and big decisions. And today is the beginning of an exciting new chapter for each of you. As you move forward, stay confident, work hard, and never be afraid to bet on yourself. Your community is proud of what you've accomplished and excited for what's ahead. Congratulations from T.C. Simmons Insurance.
Y'all still doing swap and shop? Is this swap and shop? Is this swap and shop? Hi, I'm calling for swap and shop. Swap and shop, swap and shop, swap and shop, swap and shop. Wait, where's swap and shop?
That's right, Franklin County. Swap and Shop is back and better than ever. Call in just like you used to, and now you can list your items online at 931go.com. Catch us Monday through Friday starting at 10 a.m. only on ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
Franklin County High School's Criminal Justice Club delivered an impressive performance at the Southern Middle Tennessee Criminal Justice Invitational, earning multiple top finishes across a wide range of events. The team captured first place in appellate court argument with Kaya Porter, Jenna Payne, Katie Crownover, and Hannah Clark. Porter and Payne also earned first in pretrial motion argument. In hands-on and tactical competitions, Taylor Blair and Keegan Nelson took first in the standardized field sobriety test, while Caden Dotson and Keegan Nelson won first in unknown response. Isaac Gomez and Caden Dotson placed first in stop, frisk, and handcuffing. Additional podium finishes included second place in fingerprinting for Allie Garner and second in tactical room clearing for Dotson, Gomez, Jackson, Jarvis, and Nelson. Several other teams won third place finishes in criminal justice trivia, domestic disturbance, felony stop, and vehicle search. And as graduation season begins and students head into summer break, law enforcement officials are also warning parents about online dangers facing children. Channel 5 News in Nashville reports that extremist groups are targeting young users through online gaming platforms, particularly Roblox, before moving conversations to private chat spaces like Discord. Experts say children can be manipulated into self-harm, blackmail situations, or even discussions of violence. Authorities warn that perpetrators may use tactics such as swatting calls or doxing to intimidate children into compliance. The FBI advises parents to watch for sudden behavior changes, unexpected injuries, threats of self-harm, or personal information being posted online. If you suspect a child is being targeted, retain usernames and platform information and report concerns to 1-800-CALL-FBI, tips.fbi.gov, or ic3.gov. In emergencies, contact local law enforcement immediately. For more local and area updates, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is ESPN Radio Winchester, where Franklin County comes to life. From local news and athletics to everything in between, we're proud to bring you the stories that matter right here at home. And it's all made possible by local businesses connecting with real people in our community every single day. When you support them, you support our local coverage. Over 75 years of Franklin County heritage. Want your business to be a part of it? Contact WCDT today. ESPN Radio Winchester. Franklin County plays here.
This is Unleashed with Chewy, powered by Burroughs Termite and Pest Control on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Welcome back. ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069. What are some of the most overrated household items? You ever think about this? I say decorative pillows. if you buy a pillow for your bed and you're not ever allowed to use it, then it's not a pillow. You know what I mean? I think it's stupid. Like, where you go, like, listen, if you have, like, if you're showing me your house, number one, I don't care. So I'll let you know, I've never been on a house tour at anyone's house ever and just been like, yeah, this is interesting, I care about this. But number two, decorative pillows, you gussy up the bed. Like, making the bed, like, I don't do it. I don't advocate for it. But I could understand why it would be a healthy behavior to perpetuate. That makes sense to me. You know, you accomplish something, you have a goal, you set out, you start your day off by doing something, by doing a thing. Like, I get that. Psychologically, it makes sense, especially for, like, a young person. But the decorative pillows thing, like, you got to gussy up your bed. Not well, but you got to, like, make it presentable for somebody else. Like, that blows my mind. I can't do that. Like, I have never understood, and I still do not understand how or why decorative pillows are a thing. Like, on a couch, I guess I get it a little bit. You know, like, that's going to be seen more often. It's the living room, which is like, you know, you ever have someone try to kill you in there? Didn't think so, you know? But decorative pillows, just like on a bed, doesn't make any sense. Or like a throw blanket that no one else is allowed to use. Oh, that's a duvet. It's got silk on it. We don't want people touching that. And I'm like, why? Like, where would you buy it for? Because it was pretty? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, I can understand that. But more importantly, you buy a comfort product with the intent of impressing strangers and friends. Like, I just don't get it. I tell you what I would like, though. I would like to empathize with it, because I'm wondering where that comes from. I guess maybe like the people they're trying to, like, they get a better sense of self when their surroundings match, you know, like their neatness. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's what it is. I don't personally feel it, but I don't understand it. I would like to know more about what drives someone, what dark place drives people to get decorative pillows and throw blankets. So hit us up in the Hall of Furniture Facebook stream if you do know that. I don't. But it's the same thing with like tiny trash cans, where it's just like, well, I don't really throw anything super big in there. I just throw away paper. And I'm like, how much you writing? You know, how much? Like, what are you wizard or something? Joey Rahams, we need to shave you again. You're getting very furry. We thought about that. Tori has a pair of clippers where she was saying that she'd come on here on Friday and shave my head. I think that'd be fun if we did a live where like a bunch of people could watch us all shave my head live. I think that'd be fun. People may not enjoy it. I don't know. The original video of me getting my head shaved is still up though. So if you want to go on YouTube and find that, you can. But anyway, top sheets. This is another one. Don't get it. Why are you doing it? Stupid. Like, if you've got things, listen, I'm not, like, when I go into your house and you have like an overly decorated bed with 50 pillows and all the throw blanket and the duvet and all this stuff, I get confused. I don't get impressed. I'm like, what do you do with all this stuff in the middle of the night when it's time to go to bed? Because I know it's either going to be on the floor or taking up space in the closet, because that's all that is. Because it's like, I know you don't sleep with that pillow that's got the embroidery on it, got the little plastic beads that outline it. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? And also, like, candles, like decorative candles. Like, what's the point of this anymore besides, you know, a power outage? What's bad? You don't got no flashlights in your, you know what I mean? Like come on now. Keep up with the thing. Also, here's a weird one. White furniture. I think that's a stupid mistake. I really do. I think it looks beautiful, like that shabby chic kind of like white furniture look that some of these people have with like that modern farmhouse look. But white furniture, I feel like, is just a recipe for something to get stained so fast and you not be able to fix it very easily. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, and with white furniture, you see anytime you paint anything white, all the imperfections come up to the top. It's you see all like the little bumps and blips and cracks and stuff, and I think that's weird. That's less of like overrated household item, but that's basically it. Joy Raham says, I would barely have sheets on the bed if it wasn't for Katie. The boys are like that too. Their sheets are always coming off. I'm a function over form kind of person. When it comes to like household things, I would agree. Where like I am more like I don't care. Like if you come into my house and you see that my bed has pillows on it, I'm not secretly hoping you think I don't use those. You know what I mean? Like it's a bed. It's where you sleep. It's supposed to have beds and blankets on it that you use. That's how things work. You know, it's like, what are we doing here? Who is this for? Why am I in your bedroom? What is this? What are we now? You know, it's like I don't know. I just don't get it. Like. And also formal, like if you ever watch these like rich people like house building thing, there's this guy online that I love watching. He's called How to Buy a Mansion. And I love watching him because it's like, man, I'm just glad I don't have to worry about the things that they worry about. Where it's just like, what do you mean they don't have a walk-in sauna? You know what I mean? And to his credit, he's basically saying you're spending $70 million. There better be a walk-in sauna in there. And now I do agree with that. But then they have things like, this is the dining space. And then this is the formal dining space. And I'm like, what? Like, just eat the food with the table. It's like, why is one more fancy than the other? Because it has less casual chairs? It's like, man, it both drives me nuts, but is also it's good to, you know, to like be like, wow, I don't really have it that bad. You know what I mean? Where you think about things like that, where it's like, you know, oh, this is the family room. This is the living room, and this is the entertainment area. And all three of them have L-shaped couches and a big TV and a bowling alley. That's a good example, Joey Ram. Where it's just like, what are we talking about here? But anyway, that was a side tangent, but it still applies where they have it worse. Now you're like required to buy half of this crap because you've got half a building that you can't occupy. So you've got like people now where they used to have like guest houses in the back of their like lot. Now they just have them built into the larger house where they call it the guest house. And there's just a long corridor that separates them from just like your house just also has a smaller house attached to it. Where I just think about that sometimes and then just laugh at all my problems. I mean, really. But anyway, stay tuned with us here at ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340 1069's Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control. We got more coming up after the top of the hour break here. Stay tuned with us for the next hour after this.
This is Joe Abraham inviting you to join us every Thankful Thursday on the starting lineup. Chewy and I sit down with Winchester Mayor Sean Crabtree, look ahead to a huge weekend in sports, and take a moment to share what we're thankful for. It's a positive way to roll into the weekend. A little gratitude, a little sports talk, and plenty of fun. Don't miss Thankful Thursday every Thursday morning on the starting lineup.
With the latest from around FCHS and Rebel Nation.
The Rebel Report, every weekday, presented by Oaklawn Baptist Church, right here on ESPN Radio Winchester.
Welcome back, Franklin County. I'm Lucas Stevens.
And I'm Laura Medina. Welcome back to the Rebel Report, your source for everything happening in Franklin County athletics and activities.
We begin with a look back at an incredible postseason run by the Franklin County Rebel baseball team.
The Rebels battled their way through the region tournament this past week and showed a ton of fight all the way to the very end. Unfortunately, their season came to a close Saturday after a heartbreaking 5-4 loss against Battle Creek.
Even though the season ended just one run short of advancing to the state sectionals, this team gave Rebel fans plenty to celebrate.
It has been quite some time since Franklin County baseball has made a postseason run quite like this one, and this group proved they can compete with anyone in the state.
Throughout the tournament, the Rebels showed resilience, toughness, and determination every single game. From big defensive plays to clutch hitting and strong pitching performances, Franklin County represented the community with pride.
One of the most exciting things about this season is that many key players are expected to return next year.
This postseason experience could become the foundation for an even bigger run next season. The Rebels now know what it takes to compete deep into the playoffs.
Now let's head over to track.
Our Franklin County track and field athletes who qualified qualified for the state tournament are entering their final preparations before competing next week on May 21st.
These athletes will have the opportunity to compete at the University of Tennessee Track Complex in Knoxville against some of the best athletes in the state.
That's an incredible accomplishment and something our entire school can be proud of. We want to wish all of our athletes the best of luck as they close out their seasons and compete for a chance to land on the podium at this next state meet.
And while some seasons are ending, preparations for next year are already beginning.
Tryouts for several Franklin County athletic teams will take place next Thursday, which also happens to be the final day of school.
Different sports will hold tryouts throughout the day, so students interested in participating should be sure to check out with coaches and school announcements for the exact times and locations.
Summer workouts, camps, and off-season practices are just around the corner, and excitement is already building for another great year of Franklin County athletics.
We are looking forward to summer and a whole new season for everyone next year.
That's all for today's Rebel Report.
I'm Laura Medina.
And I'm Lucas Stevens. And as always, go Rebels.
Located at 108 Memorial Drive in Winchester, Oaklawn Baptist Church is a place where families grow, faith is strengthened, and students are encouraged to live with purpose, which is why we're proud to sponsor the Rebel Report. Our mission is simple: introduce people to Jesus and build strong families through God's Word. Join us this weekend for Sunday school at 10 and worship to follow at 11. Learn more online at oaklawnbaptistchurch.org.
You are now experiencing Unleashed with Chewy on ESPN Radio Winchester, presented by Burl's Termite and Pest Control. Please stand by for your regularly scheduled broadcast and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burl's Termite and Pest Control. Oh gosh, sorry. I tried to eat some McDonald's today. Yeah, first time in a while. And it is literally killing me. It's actually shutting my system down. It was like, that was the last, I met my chicken nugget threshold. Jeez, sorry. I need to go chug some Pepto. All right. I wanted to talk about something that kind of annoys me. Things that people pretend are relaxing. You know, like, you ever get invited to the thing and you're like, oh man, it's really nice to be included. I really, it makes it special that you thought of me. And then they say, we're all going to the beach. And I'm just like, great. Where's this going to be? And they're like, oh, it's in Florida. And I'm like, great. I'd hate to go somewhere affordable. And it's one of those kinds of things where, like, I don't know, like, I see people, like, you've got some people who worship the beach, where they think it's the only place you can vacation. They think it's the only reason to vacation, and then going and soaking up some sun and having a salt life sticker is the only reason that people do what they do. And I'm a little sick of it. My true and first love always will be the sea. But, man, I cannot do this thing where we go to the beach all day long. Like, I'd like to take a stroll on the beach, maybe take a boat ride or something, go on the pier and go on the Ferris wheel. But, dog, you are not going to catch me sunbathing any day of the week. Dude, if we are going to the beach, we better get a tent that's, like, big enough to, like, be cool on the inside, Got to get those coolers and stuff like that. But, I mean, that goes for a whole bunch of stuff, like cooking. Like, I've heard Tori say that she likes to cook because it calms her down. In what universe is cooking, especially if you're using, like, a fry top, a relaxing experience? Like, you have to be on top of it. You have to make sure you got all the ingredients correctly. You got to make sure you spun this thing long enough. And also, it's like, well, you ever watch one of these cooking videos, like, there's just a little bit of technique that goes into it. And I'm like, well, I wasn't born with it, Mr. Technique. I need to know what the technique is. And they're like, you know what? Just feel it out. Have 1 or 2 pinches of salt and pepper. What does that mean? What does that mean, a pinch of salt and pepper? My fingers are much larger than the lady on the videos, okay? So her pinches are going to be different. Also, we're using different salt. She's sitting there using the kosher salt, and I'm over here using table salt. I don't have the money to go out right now to go and do this. I got to figure out this recipe now. Why are you using these arbitrary forms of measurement when you have a measuring spoon right there? Just tell me what's involved. But it's so, I don't know. I do not enjoy cooking. Baking, no-bake desserts. Nail it every time. Love a no-bake dessert. I love making them. I love eating them. Like the vanilla wafers with the what is that stuff that you put in vanilla wafers? Vanilla pudding and stuff like that. I hear it makes them really soft. I don't know. I don't ever eat any of the desserts that I make. I don't know. I feel weird. I don't like most of the desserts I make. I do not like. But I like making them. The like no bake cheesecakes and like the chocolate pie kind of things. Like all these like no bake stuff I enjoy because it takes basically all of those things wrong. Okay, so no, Joe Abraham asked, is the recipe Jewish? Is that why it needed to be kosher? No, I learned this from that video. So all the time you'll watch these like food YouTubers, they always talk about having a pinch of salt, and when they do it, it always is like way more salt than you can get with like iodized like table salt. No, the reason why they use it so much is because kosher salt is coarser and thicker than regular iodized table salt. So therefore, it is easier to control with your fingers if you know what you're doing. But it also can add grit and actually oversalt some things if you are not careful with your ratios, because it's different if you have kosher salt versus. That's why sometimes it'll say recipe calls for kosher salt, like a chocolate mousse where they've got the salt on top. That's almost always kosher salt because it's thicker than regular iodized table salt. There's also different types of salt. Like I went down a rabbit hole about it. It's really interesting. Like the pink Himalayan stuff where, it has that like, and then there's some people where it's like, they have like this cubed salt that comes out of like the Dead Sea or something. Really interesting stuff. Like sea salt versus kosher salt versus pink Himalayan salt versus iodized, non-iodized salt. It's really interesting. I watched a whole video about it. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, cooking, I've never understood that as a calming. There's nothing calm about cooking. I'm always anxious about like making sure I got like, did I set all the right recipes out? Do I get to buy everything? And every time you're cooking something, God forbid that you decide to cook something without making preparations, you're just like, we're having spaghetti. And you get there and then you're out of salt and pepper and you only got half a bundle of noodles and then you hand the noodles off to somebody and then they like break them in half. And then it's like, oh, by the way, you don't have enough meat for this, or the breadcrumbs. That to me, it's why I outsource my cooking to other people. I don't like it. Like if it were up to me, if I was left to my own devices, I would eat peanut butter sandwiches and an apple every day. Like that would be it. That would be my food every single day. I would eat one for lunch and one for dinner and eat an apple at both occasions. And I wouldn't eat anything else. I would do that in water. That's how far into the rabbit hole I am for, having incorrect opinions about food. But think about it like this. Moving on. I'm tired of talking about this. It's just freaking me out. Family vacations. If you have ever been a parent, Joe Abraham says he breaks his spaghetti. Why? Why do you break your spaghetti? Is it because, is it just easier to eat that way? Or is it just something you've always done? Just let me know. I am curious about this. But I'm not a spaghetti breaker. But I don't know why you would. But I just know you're not supposed to sometimes. So let me know, Joe. Why is that? Did you just grow up that way? But family vacations. Now, I've said this in the first hour. I do not have a family. Okay. Well, I have a family, but I don't have kids of my own. Nor am I going to anytime soon on purpose. You remember when you were a kid? Joey Ram says it's easier to eat. Okay, that makes sense. But do you remember when you were a kid? If you ever went on a family vacation, like we went on 3 or 4, like actual vacations that weren't, like a business trip that we were along the ride for kind of thing, where it was like, you went out to relax sort of idea. And I just remember the whole time my poor dad looking so exhausted and irritated half the time. And he was like, he was doing that dad smile where they're like, what I mean? They're like, yeah, you having a good time? And their eyebrows are telling a different story than their mouth is. Joey Ram says, real Italians don't. No little Wookiees. Dang. No. No little Wookiees on my end. I am relegated happily to being the fun uncle, that guy. I would much rather be him. Like I like other people's kids. Like I don't know if I have the patience for children of my own. I don't know. It scares me, to be honest with you, when I think about it, because I wouldn't want to be the helicopter parent where you're on top of them 24/7 and always checking everything. And like my biggest, like I would hate that. I would hate for my anxieties to turn into their shortcomings. Does that make sense? That's my biggest fear, is like why I wouldn't want to be a parent. But speaking of which, you know, if you've ever been on one of these ones where you're with your dad and you're like, why, you know, and you would ask mom, is he all right? Like, he just seems a little upset about something. And she's like, yeah, he's probably just overworked, you know, and stuff like that. But like, you know, as a man now, like I can barely get myself to Walmart, let alone 5 or 6 different little humans, and then wrangling them for a vacation. That sounds, I mean, logistically impossible. Like getting children to the airport, that in my head, I'll run that simulation, and it literally is. It seems like a living hell. And tell me if I'm wrong. In the Hall Furniture Facebook stream, if that's an incorrect perception, because like I see these people, and like if you go to like, so I've flown a lot in my life, because my dad went on all of these business trips all the time, you know, and so every now and again they would put me on the docket, and I would get to go fly with him during the summers in between school. Super cool, super legit. But it makes you really good at, so like going to the airport and getting on an airplane, like getting the airport process, it is a skill. It genuinely is a skill of like knowing when to get there, how fast to move, where to put your bags, where to check in, what lines to go in, you know, like what to avoid, taking your shoes off, like all the flying genuinely is a skill, and most people do not have it because they don't fly very much, right? And if you get somebody like a child who is not, it's unnatural the way that we do things. Number one, it's unnatural to fly, but number two, like the process of getting on an airplane is so intrusive and obstacle filled that it is like you have to just know what to do before it happens, kind of thing. Like there's no guide on airports, and maybe we would be better as a society if we did things like this. But I could not imagine like having 2, 3, 4, 5 children with you on trying to board an airplane. That I would rather defuse a bomb. You know what I mean? And then when you get to said place, you're in a mysterious place where you don't have any, like, you know, imagine if you go out to like Cancun, or maybe Cancun's not family friendly, maybe like Fiji or like Hawaii or somewhere where like you don't have any family out there. Like I would have a death grip on these kids. Like it sounds like a nightmare, but at the same time, you don't want to deprive them of a unique journey and experience. But I don't know, like I've never understood family vacations like from that perspective. If we go on a family vacation, I'd like to like go to the same place with you, but I don't want to swap itineraries. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to exchange, like we might meet up for drinks or something that day, but don't make an itinerary and just because I'm there think that we're going to party. Like I'm not that kind of guy. Like I can't do it. Like also just vacationing in general just stresses me out. I don't know why. But it's also like, you know, shopping. Like I shop in a very similar manner is the way I go to the airport, where I go in and I have a mission. Okay. And if I'm not on one, you know, like if I've had a few drinks, you know, if I've taken my sleep medicine before I get there, like I will not spend more than 10 minutes in Walmart, and I book it, dude. Like if you see me in public and we're in Walmart and I don't wave at you, it's probably because I didn't see you, but also just because like I can't do that. Joe says taking your kids to Disney is pretty scary. Do you have a leash for Tori? No, I do not yet. Still getting it fitted. Yeah, like I couldn't. Oh man. See now, Joe, you're totally right. Like if I take that woman to Disney, I hold Tori's hand because she falls a lot. And I do love the girl, but I hold her hand very tightly, not because I love her so much, but because she can't stand up. Anywhere we go, she's always falling. Like I have multiple clips of her from our Ring doorbell camera of her just falling a lot. And God forbid we go to like Disney or something. She's never flown before. And she doesn't walk very fast because she's got little legs, okay? And I walk at what I would call a moderate pace, and I am always 20 feet in front of her. Like I'm always waiting on her behind me, so I've always got a death grip on her. Man, at Disney though, you'll get run over. Like those people on those mobility scooters, or the what are those people called? Strollers. Yeah, people with like a stroller. You better wear some ankle protection going out there in some Doc Martens. You know what I'm saying? Like an airport, God forbid that poor woman. Like I don't want to. Like I. That's what. Okay, this is what I'm talking about though. This is why vacations are anxiety inducing. It's all the same. Going to the gym is another one where I went to. So before my dad got it, the reason my dad has a pacemaker is because we found out because of the gym. We were going to the gym regularly because he was having he was just out of breath all the time and he couldn't figure out why. And he's not like overweight. He's he's seemingly fit and he's just out of breath constantly. And so if you have a dad who is like this where they don't want to go to the doctor and then all of a sudden out of nowhere they just start having like oxygen issues, go see if go get a echocardiogram or something. Head on over to a heart doctor and then see if they can't clear that up really fast. Kicking and screaming if you have to. But my point being is like going to the gym, I would have those same anxieties, going there and doing that. But then it ended up being like you have these anxieties because this is happening. But I don't know. Just some thoughts I had this morning. We're moving on. Going on. Stay tuned with us. We're going to take a break here. Be back with more Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control after these messages. Stay tuned.
931 Graphics proudly congratulates the graduating seniors of Franklin County High School and Huntland High School, class of 2026. Today is a celebration of your hard work, dedication, and the memories that you've created along the way. As you move into your next chapter, continue striving for success and making your community proud. Whether on the field, in the classroom, or in life, your achievements deserve to be recognized and celebrated. Congratulations, seniors, from the team at 931 Graphics in Winchester.
Y'all still doing swap and shop?
Is this swap and shop?
Is this swap and shop?
Hi, I'm calling for swap and shop.
Swap and shop?
Swap and shop?
Swap and shop? Swap and shop. Wait. Where's swap and shop?
That's right, Franklin County. Swap and Shop is back and better than ever. Call in just like you used to, and now you can list your items online at 931go.com. Catch us Monday through Friday starting at 10 a.m. only on ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069.
If you're competing with 3 other businesses in the same category, you're not advertising, you're fighting for attention. At ESPN Radio Winchester, our top partners don't outshout their competitors, they eliminate them through partnerships that offer category protection and exclusivity. Fewer competitors, stronger recall, better results. That's how local advertising is supposed to work. Learn how smart advertising creates a competitive advantage with ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a 5th-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
When life hits you hard, you need someone who will stand up and fight back for you. Andy Davis, attorney at law, serves Southern Middle Tennessee in personal injury, criminal defense, family law, bankruptcy, and more. Call today to set up your free consultation, where you'll get clear answers, honest guidance, and a plan built around your needs. Online at southerninjurylaw.com. This is an advertisement. Andy Davis, attorney at law, responsible for content. No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than that of other lawyers.
This is Unleashed with Chewy, powered by Burroughs Termite and Pest Control on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what is this show? Unleashed by our friends over there at Burl's Termite and Pest Control. What are some? Listen here. If you're listening now, jump in on the Hall Furniture Facebook stream because we're going to talk about some more food, okay? And more importantly, correct ways to eat food. There's a lot of people who have like a lot of opinions on this, and I went on a rant the other day about how boneless wings are just chicken nuggets. But in function, I'm not saying like, is it literally the same kind of chicken goo that they form into the thing? No, I'm assuming a boneless wing is a more honest cut of meat rather than that kind of thing. But I was just curious about your food opinions. Wings, flats or drums, folding or not folding the pizza, milk coming first before the cereal, like that kind of thing. Like, I've got a few of these. Like Pop-Tarts, I don't like a toasted Pop-Tart, and I don't understand why people do. I do it like the rich people do it, okay? I eat my Pop-Tarts al dente. I'm not interested in anything but a raw Pop-Tart. I raw dog Pop-Tarts is a good way to say that. Yeah, can I help you, Joe Abraham? Did you want to jump? Did you have an opinion on this one?
I love the fact that you've incorporated raw dog into your daily lexicon. So I do the same thing with Pop-Tarts. I eat them raw, but it's interesting. I'm not really overly particular about like the drums versus flats and all that type of stuff. But what I am is particular about if I need a sauce or a condiment to eat something, it's not worth eating.
Really?
Yeah, like the only thing I would say that I prefer is sometimes I like ranch. I like ranch with my wings, but that's the only real condiment that if it needs sauce or ketchup or ranch or something like that, then it's probably not good enough to order on its own.
Interesting. And you're not a blue cheese guy either. You're from New York and you don't do
like
the blue cheese? Really?
Yeah.
You've been cutting you split your spaghetti and you don't eat the blue cheese.
I'm weird about stuff that is I don't know, like rotting, like milk. I don't like to drink milk if it's within a day of like and the boys are like that too. And Katie will like open it up, smell it, drink it, the whole 9 yards to make sure that it hasn't gone bad. And I'm like, if it even is hinting at going bad, me and the boys are like, nope.
So you're not a fan of like fermented stuff either, like you wouldn't want it like fermented pickle or something like that. Really?
No. That's like old and rotting. That's what I call that. Fermented is just another word for old and rotting.
You're not wrong. It literally is that. Like that's their like the word faux. That's their version of, instead of saying rotting, they say, well, it's not rotting, it's fermented. And that's exactly what I would say if I was eating rotten food.
Yeah, I'd come up with some stupid name for it too.
What are you doing with all these pickles in your basement? They're fermenting.
Yeah. When a person gets old and they start having that old person smell,
they're fermenting.
They're fermenting. Sure. Okay.
Fermented old guy. Okay, do you have...
Sounds like fermented grandma in here.
Golly, son, that's so
Yeah, you just smelled it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I just I just thought about it. Do you... Okay, we're talking about food opinions, though, like how to eat foods correctly. Are you a folder of your pizza? You a pizza folder kind of guy?
If it's one of those big... What is the ones that are big like that? The New York style
ones? A New York style, like a big wide slice. See, I am also a folder. I've gotten into the habit, if it's even big enough to fold... Yeah. I'll usually fold it because I've caught whatever thing that is where I actually like it a little bit more than regular pizza now.
I will take the first bite, and once I can't fit it in my mouth anymore, then that's when I fold it up.
Yeah.
Now here's a funny story. So when I was a kid, I used to put everything on bread. And I'm talking about from the time I was 5 to the time I was 10. So we would have pasta, and I'd be sitting at the dinner table. And I would take just the cheap, like, bunny bread style bread, and I would take, like, the spaghetti. I'd take a piece of bread, and I would pile the spaghetti in the bread, and everything became, like, it was like a spaghetti taco or, with the bread. Everything went on bread. I'm not like that anymore. You don't have to give me that look now. I mean, I was like...
Sorry, I had to say something off air. But yeah, you sit there and call me. But yeah,
man.
okay. But bread, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
What caused that? Did it just taste better? Was it one of those ones like it just feels more correct to eat it that way?
I don't know. I just love bread, you know. I love toast. I love like toast with butter on it and stuff like that. Buttered toast. But no, I think what it was so growing up when you got 9 siblings, at the time there was 4 girls and then there was me. I was the youngest boy. They would all eat first, and like they'd all get their serving first, and I was last.
Katie, please don't fall.
Yeah, don't fall. I was last, so I'd get the last like helping of whatever was left. Well, on top of that, I also was sitting next to my father, and my father would get done with his plate, and he'd start picking off of my plate. So I never had enough to eat. So I discovered that if I put everything on bread, well, then I'm eating the bread too, so it's like I'm eating more food.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? That's actually kind of sharp. I appreciate that. That's clever.
Ravioli on bread.
So you just got
Shepherd's
into the habit
pie
of eating
on
bread.
bread.
So interesting. Did you take this outside of the house too? Like when you were like, did you ever bring your lunch to school or anything?
I did sometimes bring my lunch to school. No, I didn't take it outside of school or outside of the house though. And it's weird because it's not anything that I realize that I don't do anymore until, you know, you're just kind of talking about weird things and preferences and other things like that. I don't know when that went away, but at some point in time I stopped putting things on bread for the most part.
I had a friend who would put water in his cereal.
That's weird.
I
That's
thought,
gross.
yeah, and I don't like milk, but I don't like it has to have milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's designed for it, right? But
so the other weird thing is, we grew up on skim milk, and I don't know when we made that transition. At some point in time, we went from like 2% or whole milk to skim milk. I think my father was maybe trying to lose some weight or something. And then now, like my family, we do 2%.
Mhm.
That's where I live, is in the 2%. But now if I try skim milk, it's like water. It's weird. I don't know.
really, well, yeah, because it doesn't have that consistency.
Yeah.
like it's like milk has that gross sort.
Right.
Like it's why I don't like it. It's like milk. It leaves that film, and it's just like, ugh.
I love milk. I still love milk. The other thing I would say is, you know, as far as the bread and the toast and things like that. And this is, you talk about the peanut butter sandwiches. Dude, I hammer me some peanut butter sandwiches.
Dude, have you ever had a toasted peanut butter
Oh, yeah.
sandwich? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, like
Uh-huh.
the first time I did that, it was
Yeah.
like I ate 4. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is the best thing. I thought about getting a job. I was gonna buy some more bread.
What's your favorite type of nut butter?
Oh, classic creamy Jif. And I like the Jif because it's got more sugar in it compared to like Peter Pan or any of the other ones.
Okay.
So it has a sweeter consistency and it's actually a little grainy.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Okay. I went through a phase where and again, don't judge me, but I did go through a phase where I had the peanut butter with the nut, like the peanuts in it.
Oh yeah, like the crunchy. Yeah, sure.
But so I do like, what is the Nutella? I do like Nutella, but I would say that my favorite nut butter is got to be the Peter Pan that they came out with a few years ago with the honey in it.
Honey roasted, yeah.
Honey roasted. Oh my gosh. Because as well, to your point, it's a little bit sweeter, but it's got that like that roasted honey flavor to it.
It's hard to describe, but it's because it's so unique to the honey flavor. But it is so good.
It's so good.
And then let me ask you this then: are you a white bread kind of guy? Are you a bread connoisseur? Because I've turned into one here recently.
Yeah. My favorite bread to work with, so to speak, I would say is the sourdough bread.
Yes.
It's the most like versatile. The problem is if you get real sourdough bread, it goes bad really quick.
Yeah.
But I'm very particular about the bread and the type of bread that I use. Like if I'm using rolls for burgers or brats or anything like that, I'm very particular. If I get a hot dog, for example, I want a hot dog on a cheap little ballpark bun. It's got to be a cheap little ballpark hot dog on a cheap little ballpark bun, and that's fine. But if I get a brat, I want it on like one of those really nice like hoagie,
brioche buns.
yeah, like something good.
Like or a lobster roll bun. You ever had one of those?
Yeah.
Like a Dodger dog?
And I don't want... I also sometimes it offends me when the bread is too bready, if that makes sense. Like if there's too much,
you can taste it too much.
Well, there's too much. There's just too. It's too thick. It's too hard. It's too hard. It's too too much.
Yeah, like
you
a
know?
hoagie where like it's like this thick, but that it's that much air inside the bread. kind
Yeah,
of thing.
well, and I can't remember. Is it Jimmy John's or one of the places where they actually like pull some of the bread out of it,
Yeah.
so that they can put more meat into it? I like that, but it just depends on the type of bread. I really like a good Italian bread, or you know, that you toast a little bit and put some of the butter on it, stuff like that. But I would say overall, like if I'm making eggs in a basket, if I'm making breakfast, if I'm making, you know, sandwiches, if I'm making any, the go-to is a sourdough bread, man. It's so good.
I have never been one to just eat bread raw.
Yeah.
You know, but Tori, when she started making the sourdough, and she would get that right out of the oven. Here's the annoying part: you can't eat it right out of the oven. You have to let
Right.
it. It's like a steak. You got to let it rest for like an hour. Dog, we sat there and watched that sourdough bread cool down, and I've gotten into
I can
it.
imagine that in my head.
Yeah, and I was like just like staring at, and I'm not joking. Like a hot, fresh sourdough bread is so good that it's like, and it's so simple that it doesn't. It's not even extravagant tasting. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just good. You know what I mean? And it really, like, we finished half a loaf, nothing on it.
Yeah.
Just picking at it all night long.
Love to slam a loaf.
It's
crushing a loaf.
You know, pinching off pieces of that loaf and putting it in our mouths. We were enjoying it.
You know what will ruin a loaf is I hate rye bread.
Yeah, I don't
like
mess with
that
bread.
rye seeds and rye flavoring.
Now I do like a whole wheat bread. Like when I like bread from a store, I will usually get
Yeah.
whole wheat
Yeah.
because I actually prefer that. But like because some of
I
them,
don't really like wheat.
well, I like but I do like. So a lot of the reasons like people don't like it, those are the reasons why I like it. You know, I like a little bit of that extra flavor. I like the texture of kind of like the seeds and like the I don't remember what it's, the germinated, you know, the casings and everything that's in there that's still in there. I like that. I actually prefer that flavor. They're usually cooked a little bit well. Hey, Daniel, you got an opinion on this? Okay.
I don't even know if he knows what we're talking about.
Daniel, we're talking about bread. You got opinions?
You have I don't think Daniel eats bread anymore, man.
You
He doesn't
don't?
eat bread no more.
But I eat 100% whole wheat bread. But that's
He does. Okay, whole wheat.
So he does
he
do the
said
whole wheat.
months ago.
Months
Months
ago.
ago.
Okay. Yeah.
This one time he ate bread. So as far as bread goes, you know what I really do like as well is I love me a good bagel.
Dude, I'll mess up a bagel.
Yeah.
Like I like that rubbery sort of consistency that some of them have too. I actually do like that.
So what bagel do you like lean into?
What are those? Those ones are the Entenmann's? Are they the ones?
Yeah,
it's the same
Entenmann's.
ones with the donut company that makes the bagels at Walmart.
Yeah,
those are my favorite.
What's your? Do you do the plain white?
Just plain white bagel.
I like me a cinnamon raisin bagel. I like me the everything bagel.
I've never had one of those.
Really?
What is that exactly?
What,
I haven't been
the
able to
everything?
Yeah. What is it? Is it just like? I noticed it got a bunch of seeds on it.
Yeah, it's got like poppy seeds and the sesame seeds, and I'm not supposed to eat that stuff because I've got
you've got that thing.
diverticulitis. Yeah, that thing. But I do love and they sell. So if people like the everything bagel seasoning, they sell everything bagel seasoning, just the seasoning.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so like Juliana will use it. She'll make avocado toast and stuff like that. And she'll sprinkle it with the everything bagel
That's
seasoning.
not a bad idea.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just like bagels in general.
Yeah, and then okay, let me ask you this: do you fall? Does it still fall in the Pop-Tart? Do you like them al dente or do you like a toasted bagel?
I like them toasted.
I do too.
Now, Katie and Crosby are a little bit weird in the way that they'll put stuff in the toaster and they put it on like one. They put it on just enough to like warm it up, right? I don't put it on where I want it burned, but I put it on. It's got to be browned a little bit.
You got to know it's been cooked a little,
right?
You know?
Yeah, I want it to be a little bit crunchy, a little bit crispy. I don't want it to be rock hard, but I do want it to have a little bit something to it. But yeah, I'm Pop-Tart wise. I can't remember the last time I ever cooked a Pop-Tart.
I remember my mom doing it for me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But never after that.
Yeah.
I've always preferred just the box, like straight out the box,
Yep.
you know. Daniel, you went to Franklin County High School. While you were there, you know, did they have the Pop-Tarts like in the lunchroom and that little side room where you could like go and pick out snacks and stuff? Did they have that when you were there?
Yeah.
Pull that microphone close.
Pull
to
it up close.
Yeah, they had all different kinds of stuff. They had that. They had like an ice cream bar. They
Yeah,
had,
I remember that. Yeah,
chip bar. They had cookies.
Chip bar. What's a chip bar?
It's literally like a bar where they had different kinds of chips from side to side. This is pre Michelle Obama.
Oh,
and
so
then
Obama.
Literally, I was there when that happened.
Yeah.
and
overnight,
dude. I turned into a Republican that night. Like, they changed like literally.
You mess with Chewy's food.
We had full pizza, like full slice, real pizza.
Yeah,
like it was like it was incredible.
So that's how it was when I went to school. Is we had, depending on which school I went to, my favorite one was North Fort Myers. We actually had. The lunch line was split up into like 3 different areas. You had like the healthy stuff, which I never went to that line. Then you had like the whatever that day's thing was, like Sloppy Joe's or whatever the heck it was that day. And then you had the pizza line. And the pizza line was straight up Domino's pizza.
It wasn't even. It was just straight Domino's.
Yeah, not even like they literally it was just boxes of Domino's stacked up, and it was like, what do you want? You could get and there was always cheese and pepperoni, and then every day they'd have like a stack of some specialty stuff. So sometimes it would be Hawaiian, sometimes it'd be the sausage and the whatever. And yeah, I had a lot of pizza in high school.
I used to go to. So my mom worked at an after-school daycare for a church. And the church was also like a really tiny private school.
Yeah.
And so basically, instead of getting paid, they let me go to school there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a neat little deal. But it was really weird and like super small. And it was 2 years, like the strangest 2 years of education of my life. Very, very interesting way. Like literally they would hand you a piece of paper with 20 things to do on them. If you finish that 20 things in the first couple hours, you
it's
literally
like summer school.
Seriously, it is genuinely like summer school. But the cool part is Tuesdays they would you had to sign a little thing about what you wanted, but they would give you a little form to give to your parents to sign. And if your parents would sign it, they would bring you McDonald's on Tuesdays.
What?
Yes. And then on Fridays, they would do the same with pizza, where they would let you pick out from like 2 or 3 different kinds of pizza. And if you went to school and you brought that back with like $5 or whatever it was, they would come back with the food for that, because there wasn't enough kids to facilitate like actual lunch duty.
Oh, okay.
So it was just like the teachers would just go into the back kitchen and just make the food and then get out.
Well, I that makes sense, because I heard that it's pretty hard to find Wookiees. They were searching, for Yetis.
High and low.
Yeah. And didn't find any. So it makes sense that your class would have been so small.
Yeah. Big eaters, though.
Yeah.
I remember, I'll tell you, this is an embarrassing story. One time I was frustrated to tears because my friends were making fun of me because I said my dad could build a car. And they're like, he couldn't build a car. And I was like, yes, he could. You don't know him. I don't know why, but I just remember... I remember that because we were eating the stupid McDonald's and I started throwing chicken nuggets at him, like telling him to quit.
Dude, you got nuggied in the face.
Man, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, we're going to take a break. On that note, taking a break here. Stay tuned with us. Got one more segment here for you. Stay tuned. Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control.
The Winchester Church of Christ proudly celebrates its graduating seniors, class of 2026. From Franklin County High School, Katie Crownover, Miley DeSmet, and Ruby Webb. From Winchester Christian Academy, Haley Jett and Abby McLean. And from Warren County High School, Lauren Sparkman. Each of these students represents dedication, faith, and hard work. And their church family is incredibly proud of them. As they step into their next chapter, we wish them continued success and blessings. Congratulations to these outstanding seniors from the Winchester Church of Christ.
Nothing celebrates victory like a good cigar. The starting lineup with Joe and Chewy is presented by Loco in Winchester, home of locally roasted Loco coffee that keeps Franklin County fueled every morning. And win or lose, Loco is the place to relax with premium cigars, craft beer, and natural products that help with sleep and stress. Start your mornings with us and a cup of Loco coffee, and you can celebrate those wins later with a victory cigar. Loco in Winchester, fueling Franklin County mornings.
This Larry Shelby previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
You know what, Chris? Let me tell you something. Why don't you go catch your breath before commenting on somebody else's? And Packsaw Tuscaloosa Jim Duggan. Just shut up, because I could strike you out blindfolded, pitching underhand with both arms tied behind my back.
Okay, why don't we take a break? I'm pretty exhausted.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
From the 931 Go Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Radio Winchester weather update, presented by Bennett's Pharmacy.
Precipitation is headed your way this afternoon. After our high of 76, we are cooling down to a low of 62 tonight with a 70% chance of precipitation. Tomorrow morning will also be more of the same in the mid to low 60s with a 100% chance of precipitation. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester for all of your wet weather updates.
Looking for more than just prescriptions? Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester has it all. Grab a bite from our menu, browse our boutique for one-of-a-kind finds, and sip on a Bloody Marty that's worth talking about, all in one stop. Located at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard, Bennett's Pharmacy is your unexpected destination for great food, fun shopping, and so much more. Call us at 931-967-2777 or come see what everyone's raving about.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Welcome back to Unleashed, presented by our friends over there. That was close. Burl's Termite and Pest Control. Almost said somebody else.
Cool.
I got Daniel and John. Got Daniel and Joe in here with me this afternoon.
It's okay. We've only been doing shows together for 2 years.
Yeah, it's fine. I wanted to talk about places where people automatically forget how to act. Okay?
Okay.
And I thought about this because ChatGPT requested it.
Okay. Well, give me some examples because I'm not sure.
So, okay, you go like Walmart.
Okay.
Okay, dive bar, the movie theater.
Yeah.
The radio station. You bring somebody in here and they just start acting a fool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Daniel, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, try taking Daniel to a football game.
Same idea, but like Little League, like youth sports.
Oh, yeah.
Like people, for some reason, when they get out there, they forget.
They lose their minds.
Yeah.
They forget how to be a human being, and they think that it's okay to act a fool.
Airports are another good example. DMVs, public pools.
Certain types of fan bases, Buffalo Bills fans, absolutely crazy. They will jump off of tailgates and do like flying elbows into folding tables on top of each other and all these things. I mean, it's where I'm from, so it makes a lot of sense in some ways.
Sure.
Wrestling was big up there. I get it. I also don't get it.
You see, that's something interesting about Joe Abraham is like you are a very, like I can see and hear the intensity of your love of like sports. Like I can tell what it means to you spiritually, what sports mean to you in the way that you describe it.
Yeah.
But I don't picture you with the beer and the tailgate and the face painted. You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like your vibe. But your passion, I bet you probably meets it.
Yeah. So interesting to that point is I'm not a fanatic. I'm not a fan of sports. I don't know what you'd call me. I just, because I grew up around a lot of sports from the media and coaching and that type of side of things, I am passionate about it, but I'm not a fan. I don't go for the beer and the popcorn and the cheering and all that type of stuff. I go because I'm actually interested in the game. I'm interested in how it's played. I'm interested in all of the intricacies of the sport. And I don't know. Does that make me weird? I don't know. I don't think that I'm necessarily a fan, though. I can't remember cheering for a team.
You're more interested in the architecture and the structure of the sport rather than the camaraderie that sports brings some people.
I look at the sideline, and I'm interested in the dynamics between the players and the coaches and the support staff. I look at the press box, and I'm interested in how things within the press box work. You know, how they communicate from room to room, how they set up the wiring for the media, how it's made.
Yeah.
How the hot dog is made.
You're like the way a chef is interested in food. You're not a foodie, but you're interested in how the bread is made. You know what I mean? Yeah, that makes sense. Daniel, you're a pretty big Florida fan, though.
Yeah, me. That's total opposite of me.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That was what I was hoping.
So like, I'm cheering. You know, I'm yelling and screaming. You know, I'm doing all that. Like,
what comes out? Is it more with other people, or are you like in the car listening to a broadcast going? You know what I mean?
I'm more like screaming at the TV while watching, like, what are we doing?
And
if something
with other fans around you, does it embolden that, or do you just kind of black out when you watch it?
I black out. Like, I block everybody out. So
okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And is it only for Florida that you get that passionate about, or is it sports in general?
When I'm acting like that, it's strictly Florida.
Okay, cool. Now, who do you passively enjoy outside of
Well,
Florida?
I'll say I have a heart for Vandy just because I was born at Vanderbilt.
Okay.
My mom worked there, so, you know, I have a little compassion for Vandy. With Grant being at LSU, you know, I have a little heart for LSU, but my heart is orange and blue all the way.
Interesting. And now that does make it pulls that out of you where like you get that hyped in it. Have you ever been tailgating before? Like you know, take a couple brewskis before you go into the stadium kind of guy?
I don't think Daniel drinks.
Do you drink, Daniel?
No,
do you want to?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
I'll be the older.
I was about to say we're gonna have a wild stream next time.
I will be the chaperone for
sure.
DD.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone needs one. But but you like, are you the type of guy to like off the balcony of like the second floor, do the pile drive into the folding chair,
no.
painting yourselves, throwing darts at each other, kind of? No. Okay.
I would much rather skip the tailgating and just go straight to like. And in Florida, they'd call it the Gator Walk, so I would go to like that and then go like straight into the stadium, find my seat. And
I think that Chewy and I should become just professional tailgaters, and it would be funny to tailgate at things that you don't normally tailgate at. Like, we just go to anything and everything and tailgate. So, like...
Piano recital.
yeah. Like, we go to the Masters and we're tailgating, and we go to Kentucky Derby. And I mean, they drink there, but they don't tailgate like, you know...
Yeah, we got to bring some culture up
right.
there.
Like,
you know?
let's go to a funeral and tailgate. I mean, it's what that person would want.
If I say that I want a tailgate funeral, will you host it?
I would totally host it.
That would be so sick.
Everything should have a tailgate. Everything in life should have a tailgate.
That is an interesting concept. I do actually think, okay, there is something hilarious, though, about picturing a bunch of guys at the Masters outside of it in, like, those, like, Technicolored shorts and, like, the collared shirts and the Birkenstocks, and they all have, like it's like a Catalina wine mixer. And
the Catalina wine mixer. So, like, we just had the Little Mermaid over at the high school. Why didn't we tailgate?
That's actually a really good point. We should do that. Hey, man. Andrew just jumped in. It says, "Good evening, guys." Good evening, Andrew.
I will say I've seen out of like college athletics, I'd say the most wildest like tailgate I've seen is Arkansas has some wild tailgating. I've seen like videos of like Arkansas.
The craziest ones outside of the Bills, which I don't really remember. I've been to a few Bills games and I have been tailgating with the Bills, and so I remember a little bit. It's where I learned how to write my name in the snow. The craziest fans I have ever witnessed is LSU. LSU fans can drink more than any other fan in the FCC.
Well, I would say, I want to say this past football season, I think when LSU might have played Ole Miss or something, there was like a fight that broke out, and the LSU
which doesn't surprise
got arrested.
Dude, LSU fans drink like fish. It's crazy.
I mean, was wild.
All right, interesting. I did not know that. And you ever done the tailgate thing though? Not the drinking part, but just like been out there and done that kind of thing?
When me, Johnny, and all of us went down to Vandy, LSU, we all met up with Aunt Pauline and Justice and all of them, and they were.
First time I ever did a Jello shot was University of Alabama. I was like, it was before I was at school.
Oh, really?
So I was like 17. I was up there visiting. And somebody, I was walking by a tent, and somebody was like, "Here, have a Jello shot."
And you're like,
"All okay, Jello, sweet." I don't even know if I knew what was in it until I tasted
love
it.
Jello. Yeah. The first time you have a Jello shot. Have you ever had a Jello shot, Daniel?
No.
It's not what you think. Because you're like, "Oh, Jello, that'll be good," and it's good for the outside part is good, and then you bite into that, and you're like,
"Yeah,
we just need a little more sugar." You know what I mean?
It put some hair on your chest.
It really.
Why do you think Chewy's so hairy?
Sure, I got this.
Chewy eats a lot
Don
of
Julio's.
I will say that if we put together something and we host a tailgate, I will come.
We should do that. That actually is a good idea. That's on brand for us.
Yeah.
Maybe to like kick off a sports season,
Right.
do like a tailgate or something. A family friendly tailgate where we cook some like hot dogs and
hamburgers.
sausage. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think that we, as a community, Franklin County could like own tailgating prior to football at the high school, Franklin County high school football games. 100%. Imagine if we started like and to the point where the party was before the game, and by the time people arrived for the Franklin County high school game, I'm not trying to get anybody up in there all sloshed or anything like that.
We'll do a virgin one.
Yeah,
and,
it could be a family friendly. But man, if we could get the whole like school involved in pregame tailgating and get out there and really have fun. Oh
do
man,
the pregame show.
I want to say
there?
I could be wrong, but I think a couple years ago they did something like that for homecoming.
Okay, you're right. I do remember that.
Here's the thing: they do in some places. They do the tailgating, and it's just like a couple of like 3, 4, 5 trucks will show up, and you'll have one person bring their grill and stuff. No, I'm talking about like let's fill up the Franklin County High School parking lot and just have a full on. Every Friday night, just a party.
That would be kind of sick.
What the heck else is anybody else doing around here on Friday night?
Good
It's football
point.
season,
Especially during fall. Yeah.
right? Come on out and we'll just like
Pre-game and post-game show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just out there, and then it's on during the whole time. I like that idea, Joe Abraham. That's a good idea. Now I want to go do a tailgate thing.
I know.
I want to go do it. I want to have a Super Bowl party now.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. And I've talked about having a tailgate party at like the drive-in movie theater, like Montana's.
Every time you bring that up, I get so hyped.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking.
How cool would that be?
I don't even like sports, and when you talk about that, I'm sad we haven't done it yet.
Have like a tailgate watch party at Montana Drive-In, and watch like the Super Bowl or watch the Tennessee Alabama game if it's at night or something like that. Like I think a ton of people would come out for that.
I agree. I think that'd be sick.
I will just give you a heads up. I will not wear anything other than Florida. So.
Oh, I thought you said heads up. I'm not wearing anything. I was gonna be like, hey,
no,
let's freak flag Friday. No. I'm all about it, brother.
No. So only thing you will just not get me in another team's colors.
Really? So is it like besides Vandy, you don't like anybody really?
I mean, I'll go for LSU. I'll wear like something with LSU on it. I'll wear something with Vandy, but other than that, like you won't get me in any orange. You won't get me in any crimson.
Wow.
I mean, you definitely nothing Georgia related. I'll tell you that right now. That's our biggest rival. So.
Brett Crabtree just jumped in here at the very last second saying, hey, Brett Crabtree.
Hey,
we're talking about
guys.
Hey, I didn't know you know my uncle. That's a joke. He's dead.
Brutal.
But in all seriousness, tailgate, yay or nay? Let us know in the Hall Furniture Facebook feed. I'm all about it. We've only got. I'm trying to stretch it out. We've got a few like 2 to 3 more minutes.
I've got something that could help with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the Franklin County High School Quarterback Club. Speaking of tailgate party, I work with the quarterback club, and we as a group are going to put on a golf tournament as a fundraiser on June 15th. It just got approved. So we're in the process of putting all the documentation and things like that together where people can sign up and register to play. It's going to be over at Bear Trace. But, yeah, the Franklin County Quarterback Club, as a fundraiser here in the next, essentially a month from now, they're going to have a golf tournament over at Bear Trace. And so if folks want to get involved and help support the program, take a Monday off, play some golf, I'm going to be out there. We're going to be out there. I think what we're going to do is we'll take the show out there. The tournament's probably going to start like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that. So I might play, do like the first hour and then tee off, something like that. And
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I would
maybe try our new microphones out or something like that. I could play like the first hole
while we do it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Joe.
No.
All right. I like this.
But yeah, the Quarterback Club is having a golf tournament, and so if you have any questions, just stay tuned. We'll get you more information on that, and hopefully we can get a bunch of people signed up.
Brett wants to know if you got a team yet.
I don't have a team yet. I've got kind of a built-in team with my brothers and my father, but I don't know if they're going to be able to play that day. And I'm open for if anybody wants to be on my team. I'm open for it.
You hear that, Brett Crabtree? There you go. All right. Well, thank you both for hopping in here at for the last few segments. I appreciate you both. Thank you all for who tuned in. Hey, shout out to Brett Crabtree jumping in here at the last second. Always nice to see you, my friend. Tune in with us tomorrow morning on the starting lineup, starting up at 7 a.m.
Whatever time we get started.
Yeah, the same time we've been getting started for the past 3 years.
Poor Chewy. He does a lot of different air shifts. So you start the show what show are we doing? Oh, this is Unleashed.
Right. I get on here and I'm like, welcome back to Swap and Unleashed. To Swap and Leashed. But anyway. All right. Stay tuned with us on ESPN Radio Winchester. No games tonight, right, Joe? No games tonight. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone for hopping in and staying tuned with us. I'll see y'all all same place, same time tomorrow.
No two patients are alike. High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas delivers care centered around your health, your goals, your story, your recovery. From routine checkups to critical procedures, we use today's medical technology and advanced clinical practices to help you feel better, recover faster, and return home to the community you love. We don't just specialize in care, we specialize in you. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
It's now time for your obituaries on ESPN Radio Winchester, courtesy of Moore Courtner Funeral Home.
Moore Courtner Funeral Home is in charge of the arrangements for Dr. J. Lynn Williams, age 68 of Winchester. Lynn is survived by her life companion Betty Pinkerton and Betty's children Neely Anderson and Jenna Dost. A visitation will be held from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday, May 29th at Moore Courtner Funeral Home. A funeral service with Holy Communion will be held at 2 p.m. on Saturday, May 30th at Trinity Episcopal Church with a reception to follow in the parish hall. Moore Courtner Funeral Home is in charge of those arrangements. We'd like to take a moment to talk about something that can truly make a lasting difference for families, both now and in the future, and that's pre-planning. It's something many people don't always think about, or sometimes put off, but taking the time to plan ahead can be one of the most thoughtful and meaningful decisions you make. Pre-planning gives you the opportunity to make your wishes known in a calm and comfortable setting, rather than leaving those decisions to loved ones during an already emotional time. It can include everything from the type of service you'd like, to your final resting place, to the personal touches that reflect your life, your values, and the legacy you want to leave behind. For families, having those plans already in place can ease a great deal of stress and uncertainty. Instead of having to make those decisions while grieving, they're able to focus on what truly matters: coming together, supporting one another, and remembering the life of someone they love. It also allows moments to be centered around honoring and celebrating, rather than trying to navigate difficult choices in the moment. Pre-planning also offers flexibility. It's not something that has to be done all at once. It can start with a simple conversation, a few decisions here and there, or even just learning more about what options are available. Over time, those small steps can come together to form a plan that brings clarity and peace of mind. And it's never too early to start thinking about it. Having even a general idea of your wishes can be incredibly helpful for your family down the road. It's a way of caring for them.